Hit it. Oh, how you feel, brother?
Feeling good.
You feel good?
Feeling good. It's groovy.
Play so much bone, brother. How you feel, man?
I feel all right.
I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, yeah. Sure getting down. We gotta take you high. Yeah. Ow. All right. I'm gonna do it again.
Hi, this is Sharita J with Drive Time, coming to you out of Los Angeles, California. It's been a wonderful, wonderful day, and I've been excited pretty much all day because I have two, just powerhouse guests that are going to be with me. And what we're going to be talking about today is empowering you. Empowering you. And what does that mean? We're talking about Nick, the Soul Whisperer. We're talking about Wendy Lipton, who is going to be just empowering entrepreneurs, which they both empower entrepreneurs. But Nick is my very first guest, and he's going to be with us for part one from 5 p.m. to 5:30. And the Soul Whisperer, what does that mean? Well, it speaks for itself, because he can reach past what you may even be trying to mask through your eyes and through your actions, and be able to talk to you about really who are you? What is your greatness? What may be troubling you, blocking you from moving forward, whether it's in your personal life or your business life. And so I'm not going to go further in talking about Miss Wendy, because that's what I'm going to save for part two. I already have Nick with us. He's waiting on the line. Nick, out of Las Vegas, are you there?
I am, Sharita. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi. Thank you so much for being with me today. What's it like there in Vegas? I know all across the country we're kind of getting some crazy weather.
Well, I'm extremely fortunate, and I make every effort to be in Las Vegas at this time of year, because the weather is just absolutely phenomenal. I've been hiking, I've been on my motorcycle, I've been biking, and it's just, to me, perfect here right now.
Yeah, it's not scorching like when I come there in July.
Well, it does get pretty hot here. That's why I try to leave during the summer. But right now, I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I just want to jump right into it. What does it mean? I gave them my version of the Soul Whisperer, but what does that mean?
Well, I seem to be able to have a gift to be able to access a very deep truth in somebody, what I might call the soul's deepest desire. And in my 30 years plus of working with people, it seems to be the case that there's a maturity or an evolution or a direction that the soul seems to be moving or evolving toward. And in the beginning, people are trying to work out, their own life and their life questions and personal issues. And then after that, they're trying to work out relationship issues. And that seems to be a big dilemma for a lot of people. And after they get done with that, there's an area of spiritual development that they're looking for, and it seems to be the case that they end up working on somehow balancing their masculine, feminine energy. And then along the way, once they hit a level of accomplishment and happiness, most people find that they have something that they want to give or to offer, or what is their purpose of being on the planet. And I kind of help people with that particular journey and help them see where there might be blocks and how they can use their own inner truth and own inner guidance for a way to move forward in a way that's authentic for their journey.
Okay, now, you say the masculine, feminine side. We all have that?
We do all have that. Most men have basically a masculine default qualities to them, and most women have, mostly a feminine quality to them. But we all possess both. I've been studying masculine and feminine energy for a really long time, a couple of decades, and I even looked on the internet the other day to help a friend kind of learn it a little bit. And there's so much out there, but if you want to be extremely simplistic, the masculine energy is about producing results, and the feminine energy is about celebrating relationships. And this happened to be one of the dilemmas, it's one of the three reasons why relationships don't work, is because when there's a conflict or when there's a fight, say, for example, about the toothpaste cap, one of the, and by the way, there's 2 or 3 or 4 ways that you can resolve any relationship problem, and one of the ways is by balancing the masculine-feminine energy. But really briefly, as a brief introduction, if we're fighting about the toothpaste cap, one of the people wants the toothpaste cap on, and they're upset if it doesn't get put on, and the other person doesn't like the way they're being talked to about the toothpaste cap. So the toothpaste cap, one person's fighting for a result, and one person's fighting for equality in relationship, and without the understanding of the masculine and feminine, that toothpaste cap fight's going to go on for a while. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, in case I'm missing, what is the toothpaste cap? Is that the masculine side? Is that the female side? Is that?
Yep, thank you. Sorry for the ambiguity. The fight is about the toothpaste cap, and I just use that. It could be, the topic could be anything that we're fighting about. But let's say, you and I are in a relationship, and my masculine side is, Sharita, why didn't you put that toothpaste cap back on again? We've been talking about it for months, and look, the toothpaste cap is off again. And what you might say to me, because I'm the result-oriented person, I want the order, and I want things logically put together, and I want the job to be done and complete, and there is the toothpaste cap again. And what the female position might be is, why are you talking to me like that? Why can't you be nice? Why is it always about the toothpaste cap? Why can't you just be nice to me? And so the feminine side is wanting not necessarily the result, but they're wanting the connection, and when the connection dissipates, that's when they have a dilemma. Okay.
Nick, as far as my listeners, if they're wondering, am I an ideal client for Nick? Who are your ideal clients?
Oh, wow. I'm only pausing because there's such a wide variety of people in different places, but I would say that people who usually end up coming to me have been trying certain things in personal growth for maybe more than 10 years and maybe have made a lot of movement and have done a lot of workshops and have done some therapy, but they haven't quite, and they're glad that they did, and for the most part those things produce some levels of understanding and growth and health. But they know that there's still something inside that didn't get done. They have this ache or this inner calling that they want more. And so if there's something that somebody is aching for, something that their intuition or gut says, I don't know exactly how to put my finger on it, I'm not sure exactly what it is, I can point to a couple dilemmas, and I've tried a couple things and nothing has quite got the job done all the way, that might be a good person for me to talk to.
Okay. Is that probably because normally the ones that are speaking, they're speaking to everyone else and not focusing as much on themselves?
You mean other people, other facilitators and practitioners?
Yeah,
or?
like when you were talking about someone that is speaking.
I'm sorry, I'm still not understanding the question. The person that has the dilemma or the person that's doing the healing work?
No, the person the client, the prospective client. Like I think you were saying it could be someone that is speaking or facilitating. And so would it be that they probably need that they would be your ideal client because they're so busy helping others and speaking to others that they're not focusing on themselves?
Well, there's a variety of personal issues, Sharita, that I wouldn't want to say this is the kind of issue that somebody has that they would come with. For doing this for over 3 decades, I got to tell you, the presenting symptoms it's a pretty long list.
Okay.
But if it really doesn't matter what the issue is, whether they're not focusing on themselves, whether they feel guilt, whether they have something that's unresolved, whether they know that they're on their 3rd relationship and they have some patterns, or they feel in their gut they don't know what their patterns are, but something's not right in their life or in their relationship, that would be a time for us to talk and see what might really be going on.
Oh, okay. Because as I'm sitting here looking at your website, as a matter of fact, to my listeners, you can go to www.thesoulwhisperer.com. That's www.thesoulwhisperer.com. While I'm thinking about it, Nick, if there is someone that would like to reach out to you after today's show, how would you like for them to reach you?
Well, the website's good, and it's actually The Soul Whisperer. There's no ER on Whisperer. It's just The Soul Whisperer.
Oh, The Soul
So
Whisperer,
they
yes.
could take a look at that and reach me from there if they wish.
Okay, I'm just sticking that ER on there, huh? Well, one of the things I'm looking at, it says, while you are busy doing your life, do you sense that life has much more to offer? Or do you think that you could be happier, healthier, wealthier? Or does it feel like you haven't tapped your true potential? So if someone calls you today, Nick, how do you kind of start to find out who they are or where they might be at this time?
Well, I'm really glad you asked that, Sharita. Thank you, because that is one of the unique things about me is that after doing this for so long, I do not have a template. I do not follow a procedure, and I try to meet the person where they're at. So the first step is just to try to get an overall picture of where they are and what understanding do they have and where are some of the kinks in the system. Mm-hmm. And if I can elaborate on that for just a quick moment, my first 20 years in business, people would present with an issue, and that issue, and it's still true today, that issue is always a reflection of an unresolved, unconscious pattern that they have inside. Mm-hmm. So they just notice the issue. There's a frustration, there's an angst, there's a person, there's something in their life that they don't like, want to change, or wish were different. Uh-huh. And that's reflecting something on the that's unconscious that they can't see. Yeah. And I successfully, for 20 years, would find what those unconscious patterns were and resolve those one at a time. And after about 20 years, I finally figured out that there's more than one pattern and there's more than one issue, and that you can actually do them all at the same time. Mm-hmm. But it requires me to sit with a person for a while and kind of get an overall sense of what's occurring. And so that's really what I'm doing now is first I interact with somebody to see what's really going on. Do we really track together? Do I feel comfortable with them? Do they feel comfortable with me? Yes. And then if so, step one is, okay, what are we working with here? Yes. And I do a comprehensive evaluation for somebody to help them realize what is really going on, what are my unconscious. If we don't know what the issues are, that's the first step. Step one are what's the issue? What are the issues? Step two is what are the unconscious patterns? Yeah. And step three is what needs to be healed.
Okay. As you were talking, I actually forgot that a camera's on me, right? Because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking and I could feel my eyes going up like, that's interesting and that's interesting. And then I just thought about, Sharita, you're on camera. Bring your eyes back. Focus. So Nick, you and I, we met at CEO Space, which is, to me, the top business conference in the world. One of them. I'm part of two that are just major, and that's CEO Space and the Power Networking Conference. And so you and I see each other regularly, at least 5 times a year, about every 2 months in Vegas, and you are consistently the same. I mean, you're so even keel. You have a way of drawing people to you and have this presence. And if someone is an individual, like I see this often there at the forum, when they're new and they see that everybody is hugging and excited to see each other and all of that, if someone is listening right now, and let's say that they find themselves in that kind of situation and they really don't know how to relax themselves and start mingling better, what would you tell someone if they're in a situation like that and they're kind of feeling left out because they just don't know how to go and start mingling it because it seems like everyone already knows each other? What would you say to someone?
What a great question, because sometimes those social situations can be awkward for people.
Yes.
And I just want to back up for a moment and comment on CEO Space, if I might.
Yes.
You know, I feel extremely fortunate to have discovered CEO Space. I think it is an invaluable resource for entrepreneurs at any level. And if somebody has just the slightest interest or a long history of entrepreneurial projects, I think CEO Space has some marvelous, marvelous things to offer, and I feel so privileged to be part of that community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
and I do enjoy running into you all the time, and I just watch how many people, you know, line up to talk with you when you're teaching classes, and how many people are at your meal tables.
But keep it coming, keep it coming.
Question about the social awkwardness. You know, first of all, I don't tell anybody anything. I don't give anybody advice, and I don't think that I have a set of values that somebody should adhere to. My goal is to help people find what's true inside of them, and how is, you know, what is the best way to allow that full self-expression of that truth in a way that's congruent with who they are and what their history is and what their values are. So the first part is I don't tell anybody anything. But what I would say is please sit down, let's discuss this, because there's something in there that's causing some kind of angst. There's something going on. Get uncomfortable. There's something that's not fluid, and the way that I would say things is that things are either open and moving and flowing, or there's something that's got the system closed a little bit or a little bit kinked. And so that would be the very first issue. That's, you know, like the first step is what are the issues. Issue number one is I feel socially awkward, or it's hard for me to talk to people. Okay, terrific. What's issue number two? So, you know, that would be the beginning of the conversation for me.
Wow, wow. Well, I you know, I also see something else on your site, and it talks about the amazing change. And someone says, I received more value in one weekend than from 10 years of therapy. So if someone were to become your client, is there a set time that you work with someone, or does it depend on the individual? What about that?
You know, I remember that person, and I must say that was one of my career highlights, because that person did tell me, they didn't tell me at the time, but I later learned that they had over $100,000 invested in, you know, therapy and workshops, and they was trying to resolve some relationship issues, and there's so much depth to the story. I don't know how much time to take to speak about it, but the hair standing up on my arms, because within a matter of a couple weekends, we actually were able to resolve that whole relationship dilemma. And that was several years ago that went on that website, and that person I happened to check in with about a year ago is actually engaged to be married and is in the first loving and healthy relationship, you know, and you know, he's our age, and so he was thrilled to death. But, you know, all the work that I do is custom designed. There is no structure. There is no time. What there is a custom designed approach to see, okay, what are the issues? I have social awkwardness. I'm on my second marriage, and I think my income could be better. Okay, so that might be the starting
point. Man, that covers a lot of people.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said that covers a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, those are some of the things I hear. And by the way, I have heard so many things. You know, those are some of the common things, but, you know, if I may share, it's a little bit, you know, it's not so common, but I did have somebody that was raised in a cult as a child, forced to do things that, you know, would not be socially acceptable in any circles except that particular cult. And so you never know what you're going to walk into, and, you know, there's always something that's a mystery with each person, and each person's like a piece of unique art. But to answer your question more specifically is, once I know what I'm working with, and once I know how many unconscious patterns we have, and once I know what the real dilemmas are, you know, then I can custom design a program program that will address and resolve all of those things at one time. And I'll be extremely oversimplistic, so I would like a lot of artistic leeway. But for most people who, do not have huge, significant, big dilemmas, but more like what we said, I'm on my third marriage, I'm a little socially awkward, and I think I could be making more money.
Yes.
Usually that kind of thing can be resolved in, 1 or 2 long weekends.
Okay.
And that can be, split up in different ways. But, roughly 50 hours or so, give or take. Please give me a lot of leeway. But this does not take 5 years of therapy, and it doesn't take 2 years of workshops. So we can get most things done in a relatively reasonable amount of time.
Well, now tell me this. For our listeners, do they need to be in Las Vegas, or do you work with people from anywhere, from right where they are?
Well, actually, I have the privilege of having a couple international clients. There's a couple ways that I work. About half the time, people fly to where I happen to be, and about half, or fly me to where they happen to be. And the other half of the time, we do it on the phone.
Okay, so if it's someone that may not be able to afford to fly to you or fly you to them, does that exclude them from your wonderful service, or do you help people and not be actually in their presence, maybe via Skype or something like that?
Yeah, it actually happened today. I had a client that I worked with that was from Chicago, and we did it on the phone.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, again, Nick, tell them how they can reach you.
The website's the best way, www.thesoulwhisper.com. It's The Soul Whisper, and there is only one ER on Whisper. It is not Whisperer. It's thesoulwhisper.com.
Okay. And when they go there, is there a form for them to fill out, or will they see an email address, or what would be their next steps?
Boy, it's a long time since I've been on that website. I think that there's a phone number on there, and I think that there's a way they can click on an email. Either way, it's fine with me.
Okay. So can we give them a direct email then also while we're on the air?
Sure. It's nick@thesoulwhisper.com.
Nick, and that's Nick.
Correct.
Nick@thesoulwhisper.com. Not whisperer, but Nick@thesoulwhisper, like thesoulwhisper.com.
You got it exactly right.
Good, good, good. Well, Nick, another thing is, what about young people? It scares me right now as far as the condition that our young people are in. Not only are they saying that the next generation is the first time in history they will not live longer than their parents. Their health is worse than before. You've got young people, the suicide rates are off the charts. Bullying is off the charts, and we all know that behind bullying there's something else. Do you work with children? Do you work with teens at all?
I try not to say no to anybody, but it's usually people who have relationship issues that end up coming to me. And, most of us go into a relationship with unconscious expectations, and those unconscious expectations cause a significant, this is part of the 3 reasons why relationships don't work. And, with the combination of masculine and feminine energy and my own unresolved baggage, I project these unrealistic expectations, and they cause significant dilemmas in relationships. And then that's the household, that's, the conflict that's in that household because of those unrealistic expectations, and they're unconscious. So it's not like I know what I'm doing. All I can see is, hey, I really love this person. I feel like we're going to sit on top of the mountain and drink champagne and watch the sunset.
Yes.
And about a year goes by, and we seem to be fighting. We seem to have issues, and all I can tell is I'm a pretty good person, and I really love them, and so it can't be really my fault. And look at the things that they're doing. If they wouldn't do them that way, and that's what both people say,
Uh-huh.
you know, and then it's that, if I can call it toxicity or that dysfunction or that unworkability that's raising our young people. And on those rare occasions when parents have brought kids to me
Uh-huh.
that are, you know, under 18, I guess is what would be an adult, the issue that I always end up working with is within the structure of the parents, because the parents are doing something that from some unconscious pattern that they have with some leftover being in this dysfunctional or unworkable structure or something that's happening in the family dynamic that they don't know how to manifest. And that, I think, is what is doing most of the dilemmas to our young people.
Yeah, yeah. You know, because I think about, like, for instance, in Santa Barbara, where the young man that was in college, and he always felt left out, and he felt like no girls liked him, and he wanted girlfriends really bad. He bought this beautiful, beautiful black, I think it was a BMW or a Mercedes, felt like that would get to them. Well, eventually, everything came to a head, and I don't know if you remember seeing it in the news. He drove around, he shot up people at the university. When they looked back at his ramblings on Facebook and Twitter and all of that, he truly had a hatred for girls, and he felt inferior about himself. The young man with Columbine, the young man that shot up the individuals at at the theater in Aurora, Colorado. Case after case, you hear people within a day or so say, I knew something was wrong with him ever since he was 5. So if we can start addressing those issues earlier, then they would grow up to be more healthier, well-rounded adults. And that's why I was asking you, do you work with young people? Because they are our tomorrow. I know we use that a lot, but they are. And if we don't do something, I think about when I went home to take care of my dad, and as I was there by his bedside, one of the nurses came in and she was changing his IV, and she gets a call. It wasn't a call from the hospital, it was her cell phone, and she stopped right then and said, girl, hold on. And she went out in the hallway, my dad's IV, she just walked out. And so where is that, first of all, work ethic? Where is the empathy for the person laying in that bed? And that's a grown person now. So where are our young people going to be in 5 years, 10 years? And so if we don't do something now, we're going to look up from that bed and see
I'm tracking with you all the way there, and you said something that I think was extremely key in that whole story that you talked about young people, is the sense of inferiority that he had. I'm thinking that played or likely, statistically highly likely, that played an extremely huge role in all the other things that didn't work out right. And, I'm not here to say that I know this for sure, but I'm going to guess that something happened in that person's childhood, and something happened in the way that person was raised. Something happened inside of the dynamics of the relationships that, were his primary caretakers. Those feelings of inferiority and not good enough and unworthy and, not lovable and those kinds of things are more likely to manifest in a household where there isn't actually love going on, where those expectations, where people project expectations on their children and on their wives and on their husbands, and that's the area that I think that we got to get at it at, is where is that inferiority coming from, and whether we address it with the parents so that they pass on lovability and functionality to their kids, or we address it with the adults who are later going to have kids. That's the area that I go to work.
So with the parent more so still than the younger people?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I just thought I'd ask because, again, the listeners and Sharita Herring want to know. So, well, Nick, we have about a minute left with you before I go into part 2 of my show. Is there a last message that you would like to leave with us?
Well, you know, I would, and I'd like to transition something nice into Wendy because I know Wendy, and I've been to her classes, and I got to tell you, she's one of the most brilliant people that I know about businesses and strategies and making workability on the outside. I might make workability on the inside, but she makes workability on the outside. And, you know, whether you're an entrepreneur trying to fully self-express your business and, you know, tap into your potential, or whether you're, you know, pretty functional that way and you're working on the outside, what is my gift to the world, what is my purpose, you know, the combination of personal growth and business structures like Wendy puts together, I think is a really great thing. And in closing, I'd like to say what I think the 3 reasons are that relationships don't work, so that people can start to have a reference point of what might they start to do when unworkability is occurring. And I think the 3 reasons are that my unresolved baggage hooks their unresolved baggage and makes another pile of baggage called our problems. And the longer the relationship goes on, the bigger that pile gets, and eventually somebody has to have some form of separation, whether they just close down or they, you know, close their heart, or, and then the other reason we talked about is the balance of masculine and feminine energy. The way the men experience and express love tends to be invalidating to a woman, and the way the woman experiences and expresses love tends to be invalidating to the man, and so that has to be understood and resolved. And then the third reason is that since all I can see is the world through my eyes, and both people's realities are not occupying the same space at the same time with equal validity, it appears that I'm right and therefore they're wrong, and through their eyes it appears the same way, that they're right and I'm wrong. And so that make-wrong level has to be addressed. So somehow we have to get to love, acceptance, and support, and we have to develop a strategy to do that. And I'd like to leave us with that closing comment, highly supporting the work that Wendy does.
Okay, well, again, Nick, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing you in about a week.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Sarita, thanks a million for having me. Best wishes.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, Nick, and you are at www.thesoulwhisperer.com. You guys go and check him out. Call him. He will change your world. Thank you again, Nick.
Thanks, Sarita. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right. Again, I want to thank Nick Bara, the Soul Whisperer, and his website is thesoulwhisperer.com. Next, I'm going to bring you Miss Wendy Lipton, and Wendy is, like he was saying, a powerhouse. I'm not going to delay any further. I think she's ready for us on Skype. Wendy, are you there?
And I am so delighted to be with you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How exciting. Did you hear Nick talking about you, lady?
I did, and it's mutual. Nick is just a sweetheart, and I see him working so hard helping people at CEO Space, and it's just beautiful to see.
Well, you know, again, the forum, the CEO Space, you know, we call it the forum, we call it home, we call it our family reunion, all of those good things. For those of you, because you always hear me talking about CEO Space, it is, I think I go to ceospace.net, but I think they also have .com and all that. Go and check it out, because I have met some absolutely phenomenal individuals like Nick that just was on the air with us, and now Wendy. So Wendy, I just want to jump right in. You know, you've helped hundreds to thousands of entrepreneurs and thousands of healthcare professionals, corporate executives, small businesses, nonprofits. You've helped them by giving them the strategies and tools that they need to maximize their and capitalize on their impact. How do you do that? And what is that?
Right, exactly. What is that? Sharita, I think when we get to the place where we've been doing what we do for more than 3 decades, it gets to a place where we start asking ourselves, how am I doing this? The reality is, every business from, trucking to manufacturing to sales to psychological practices to medical practices, they all have one thing in common, which is that they all need to make a difference in people's lives with their message, with their products and their services.
Yes.
And so my thing is about making sure that the difference you make is measurable. And what I tell all my clients is if you just focus on impact and then implode that impact into every single area of your business, the money just comes. We just forget about money and focus on the difference we make. With my nonprofit clients, that is the hardest thing for them because they're working so hard to raise that awareness and bring in those funds, right?
Right.
So now the challenge is you got to put that away.
Right, because my next question was, okay, you help them to focus on their impact, but what does that mean?
Okay. So there is a woo-woo sounding piece to this, and what I need you to know is this is proven business strategy. So there's a mindset that has to happen in every area of your business, your nonprofit, whether you're a solopreneur or you're up with the big guys. The reality is you've got to stop thinking about money. Put all thoughts of money away until it comes time to pay bills and look at what you're doing.
Yes.
But in day-to-day business, the secret is to focus on making a measurable difference in every area of your business, from vision to product development to marketing to product delivery to customer service. If you can literally map out your impact and measure it, the money just comes.
Okay. Well, I know that you have a guide that can pretty much help them do that. You have a new book, and it's called, what is it, Focused on Impact or something like that?
Yeah, it's coming out this fall. It's Focus on Impact, the 10-step map to reach millions, make millions, and love your life along the way. We're very excited about it.
That sounds delicious. Tell me a little bit about that. Can you give us a little bit of that? Of what you're talking about in the book?
Absolutely, happy to do it. It's funny because we talk about CEO Space, and of course I'm on the faculty there, and I just love everything that Bernie Dorman and September and all of the faculty are doing there, and love what you're doing. And ironically, this book, Focus on Impact, was born at CEO Space because we all have secrets in our business, the things that we use to run our business, and then we teach everybody other stuff. But there's one little secret we keep to ourselves. And at CEO Space, where we practice cooperative capitalism, where we help each other no matter what, Bernie had asked me to present something that I had never presented anywhere. And I took his challenge and presented the strategic model that I used to help all these 100,000 people, So when I presented it, we had, obviously a full auditorium, and everybody in the room I never saw the whites of their eyes. Their heads were down the whole time taking notes.
Yeah.
And I had this moment where I was like, okay, fine, I have to tell the world. So Focus on Impact is, in fact, the map that I use. You know what? I have one right here. Let me hold this up. Can you see this?
Yes. Oh, and look at that. Look at that positive road. It's not a journey that you're afraid of. You want to hurry up and follow that arrow.
Exactly right. And that is what every business is. It's a journey.
Okay.
And there's a secret on where to start. And no matter where you are in your business, whether you just have an idea on a napkin or whether you're a Fortune 10 company, you've got to make sure that you make the stops in sequence so that you have clarity. So we'll run them really, really fast. I'm keeping an eye on the clock, but I think we have a few minutes to do this, don't we?
Yes.
Do we have a few minutes to go through this, Jen?
Yes,
all right,
ma'am, we
that.
do.
All right. Anybody who's listening or watching, if you have a pen, this is a good time to take it out, or take out your tablet, because I really am going to teach you something here.
I'm going to do it
So
right
it turns out, all right, maybe you go. So it turns out the very first step before you can really take your mind off of money and focus on impact is you've got to define your impact. What is the measurable difference you're going to make in your customers or your patients or your friends' lives? I just had my high-end clients were here for a 3-day marathon just this past weekend. And we spent an entire day just mapping out their impact, because it's not something we think about very often.
Yes.
So the question is, what is the immediate impact you want to make with your message, your product, or your service? And then what's the ripple of that impact? What are all of the ways when people use your products and services, they will get a major change in their life? And so that's the first thing you need to figure out. And then figure out, what is it that it's going to take to make it happen. And that all happens in that very first city called Define, which is all the way down on the bottom.
Okay.
Then you keep going up the road to the next city, which is the city of Discover. Now, this is something that I find my executives rarely think about. Each and every one of us is born with a unique gift. Do you believe that, Sharita?
I do. I
do you
truly
find that
do.
too? I do
Yes.
too.
Yes.
I do too. And what I did is I'm very research driven. And so I researched what is it that makes us unique. And it turns out it's a combination of a bunch of things, everything from brain wiring to personality to the experiences we have in our lives. But when you put it all together and then you infuse that into your marketing and your products and services, that's when you stand out. You know, we talk about standing out in a crowded marketplace.
Right.
That's when it all comes together.
Right.
All right, so that's the first two cities. You've defined your impact. You've discovered your unique gift. Now you've got to determine your perfect market. And Sharita, we need to rock some worlds today. Are you ready, girlfriend? We're going to do this.
Yes, ma'am. I am,
All
my
right.
sister.
I am going to go against everything all of you have ever heard about marketing. And I apologize in advance if I'm going to rock your world too hard, but let's go. Because it turns out that every single person who's ever told you to narrow your niche is getting in your way. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you are impact driven, if you believe that you can make a measurable difference with your message, your product, and your service, and you narrow your niche, you're cheating people. You are cheating people out of the difference that you can make in their lives. So the secret is to widen your reach.
Okay.
And the good news is when you do that, you make a bigger impact and, frankly, a whole lot more money. And so the secret is to determine exactly who your perfect market is, who you want to help, not what people say you should do. Step number 4 is design. Okay, now here's where most entrepreneurs go wrong, and frankly, most executives and doctors too. We have this dream, Sharita, you know, someday when I make enough money or I make a big enough business, then I'm going to live the life that I want. And I have the perfect picture of what that lifestyle is. And the problem is, in the meantime, I'm going to work my little tush off until I get there. And that's why most entrepreneurs and executives burn out. So what I tell my clients and what I want you to do is to design the lifestyle that you want to live now while you're growing your business. And as your business grows, how will you live? That has to do with choosing your ideal working style and your ideal personal lifestyle, whether that means you're going to be right in the trenches, whether you're going to be out speaking, whether you're going to be writing, whatever it is that you want to do. You know, I've built 10 businesses, Sharita, and I've done it all through speaking and writing. But that's because I love that.
Yes.
You have to figure out what you love to do, put that into your design.
I was going to say, that's what you're saying about this design, is designing in what you love. Okay, this is good.
Yes.
Okay.
So then the next city is the city of Develop. So let me explain. Once you have been through define, discover, determine, and design, you've got the foundation of what a business needs to be for you. Now you're ready to develop one-of-a-kind products and services that will truly stand out, because no one will be able to do what you have done. And that is critically important in this busy marketplace. So you take all of that together, you develop your services. Now you've got to move to the next city, which is differentiate.
Differentiate.
We know that in the world, we've got to stand out, especially online, in marketing and everything we do. We have to help people figure out why us, right? That's the bottom line. Why should people listen to your awesome radio show instead of somebody else's? Because there's something very, very unique that you do. How are we going to help them know that? We do that with what I call impact-driven content marketing. So content marketing is really big, but the challenge is that it used to be that content is king until everybody jumped on that bandwagon, and now there's too much darn content and nobody knows where to start, and we're all overwhelmed. So how can you get your content through? Well, Sharita, you do it every week. You sit here and you give practical tips. You bring on people who genuinely want to serve, and you're not just filling the airwaves with fluff, right?
Right.
That's what we need in our marketplace.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
You
Well,
do.
yeah, yeah.
And we need more of that. And so that's what you do in the City of Differentiate. You help people know that you are impact driven by creating content that produces a practical step, something someone can do right now.
Yes, yes.
Then you're ready to deliver your products and services. So now in the City of Deliver, this is where, they say the rubber hits the road. This is where you've got to get people to find you and follow you and choose you and buy what you've got and use what they buy so they get those measurable results, right? How many times have you bought something and then never opened it?
So did you
the
say
secret
find
is
the
to get people
road?
to use it.
Is that what you
Say
said?
it again, sweetie?
Did you say find the road?
Yeah, the next step is to deliver your products and services so they find you.
Okay.
They need to be able to find you.
Okay.
They need to follow you on social media. They need to choose you as their go-to resource for your unique impact.
Okay.
Then they need to buy what you've got without you ever having to sell it. That's the secret. When you focus on impact, selling becomes obsolete.
Okay.
Then, and here's the hardest part, you've got to get them to use what they buy.
Okay.
This is the hardest part. When you move people to action so they use what they buy, then they get the results from your great products and services. Then they tell all their friends about you. Then they come back for more. 72% of my business is repeat and referral business. And that's because I focus on impact.
Yes, yes.
That's what it's all about.
Okay.
That's what it's all about. All right, so let's keep moving. We have 3 more cities.
Okay.
Once you've delivered your products and services and you're moving them, what you will find is that everyone is going to be saying to you, you know what? I can help you take it higher. Write me a check, give me a credit card, and I will give you my advice. And here's the thing. There is so much advice in the world for free and for pay. And the question becomes, how do you figure out what's the best advice for you?
Okay.
That happens right here.
So now, when
and let me
say,
tell you right now.
Is that me on my journey, or I'm helping those prospective customers or clients figure that out? We're talking about who at
Right.
that
Oh,
point.
great question. Great question. So if your products and services are about giving advice, then that happens in the City of Deliver and Develop, where you're developing your products and services and you're delivering them so people actually follow the advice that you give them and get great results. In the City of Decide, it's about you.
Okay.
It's about what is best for your business, for your unique impact.
Okay.
And one of the challenges, Sharita, is there are so many shiny objects out there. Now, I have people who I talk to, and they've just been on this massive journey, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, going to webinars and seminars and teleseminars and DVDs and CDs and buying and buying and buying because they don't know how to pick what's right for them, and they get caught up. They get caught up, and it's really sad.
And your book, with going step by step through this journey, will help them to be more clear on that by the time they get to this point.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in the City of Decide, there are specific things you do to make sure the advice is right for you. For example, one of the most wonderful pieces of advice I ever got on how to make difficult decisions, I got from my grandfather. And I know you're very family oriented, so I'll share this with you. My grandfather was actually the man who invented pensions. He's the guy who figured out all the math for how people would get paid. Yeah, no, seriously, he was intensely amazing. Yeah. So when he was in the hospital, and I was about 8 years old, and he was very close to the end, and I was too young to understand. But I saw all those people around his bed, and I was really, really scared. And so I crawled into bed with him, and I just kind of laid on his shoulder, and he had all these wires everywhere.
Me get chill bumps on my arms.
And, oh God! And it was so scary. And I said, Grandpa, what are all these people doing here? And he said they're here because I've made good decisions in my life. And I mean,
Wow.
I didn't know what that meant. I was so young. You know, I
Wow.
think about it now, it makes me want to cry. But at the time,
Wow.
it was all new. So I said, well, how do you know you're making a good decision? And he said, Wendell, in life, there are a lot of difficult decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You pick the one that will leave you with the least regret.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's really a
Yeah.
wow moment.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes, yes.
And that's just helped me so much in my life. And there are so many other, you know, very strategic ways to make decisions.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, when everything's even and you've balanced the old Benjamin Franklin model, it's time to just go by really where are you and what's the best choice for you. And
Oh my
you've got to trust
gosh.
your instincts.
Oh my gosh. You know, Wendy, I just feel
All right,
really
let's
honored. I
yeah.
feel really honored just because that creation has impacted all of our lives. And I'm talking to the granddaughter, and you're on my show. So I just feel like, hey, we're winning here, you know? Thanks,
Oh,
Grandpa,
baby, I'm the one who's honored to be on your show.
yeah,
Are you kidding?
yeah, but thanks, Grandpa, for bringing me Wendy.
Got
Okay,
it,
let's
Grandpa.
move.
Thanks for making it.
Yeah, let's move
So-
on.
Move on. Make sure you get all the steps. So the 9th step is to diversify. Now
Diversify.
Sharita, this is where you and I, this is where our hearts connect more than any other.
Mm-hmm.
In the city of diversify, this is when you say, all right, how can I take my impact
Mm-hmm.
and put it together with your impact?
Yes.
Because together, our impact will be greater than either one of us can ever make alone.
Yes, when I'm always
That's
saying
the spirit of
collaborate.
diversify. That's it. And that's
Yeah.
what Diversify is about. It's about
Okay.
collaborating with other impact driven people
Yes.
and bringing your stuff together and saying, what can we do together
Mhm.
that will make a greater impact? And
Mhm.
that's what collaboration is all about.
Yes.
And when you do that, not only do you create these amazing products and services that you could never do alone,
Mm-hmm.
you also spread your influence
Mm-hmm.
because you share it to other. And that's so, so huge.
Yeah.
And that point, that's when your business, your reach, your impact just goes crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're living the life you want to live and you're
Yeah.
having a good time and you're making all this impact and you're making all this money and you're reaching millions and you're making millions. And then one day you wake up and you get this idea for something new.
Uh-huh.
And at the moment that happens, there's this little voice in your head that's like, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
You finally made it work. Don't you
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
But you have to because you're driven.
Yeah.
And that's when you hit the city of dare.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the city of dare, you take it to the next level. You go bigger. You make it work. You do your new business. You do your new idea. You add on to your business. You keep growing. And at that moment, Sharita, and this is what changed my life, when I
Yes.
realized this, in order to start your new business, the only way to do it is to come back and revisit the city of define.
Okay.
You've got to start all over again, redefine your impact and discover where your unique gift fits and determine your market and design your ideal working style to incorporate the new idea. You go back around because it turns out true business success, for profit or nonprofit,
Mhm.
is not a straight line. It's a circle.
And so you have to
And you
keep
just
coming
keep
back around.
going.
You have to, right? I
Yes.
mean, yeah, just
You
because
have
you've gone there doesn't mean that now you're standing there like, "Well, now what?" You circle back around. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Well, you know, and I've got to
Right.
say
You've
this,
been there.
Wendy. We really got to watch out for this book. The reason is because CEO Space has produced so many bestsellers. It is the top organization as far as business forum to produce major books. The Secret, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Men Are From Mars, Women Venus, Chicken Soup for the Soul. So next is Wendy's book, which is the title again?
Focus on impact. You
Focus
can
on
actually go there to
impact.
pre-order now.
Outstanding.
And there's a reason why you need to do that. Because Sharita, you and I have a special surprise about this summer. Should we talk about that?
Yes, yes, yes.
I think we should. So this summer, I have invited Sharita to join me at an event that I'm holding in Stamford, Connecticut, which is just outside of New York City. And it's specifically for difference makers.
Yes.
And what I'm doing at this event is I am going to walk a small number of people. I mean, we are keeping this really small.
Yes.
And I'm going to walk them through this map. And I'm going to take you step by step. And it's a workshop. And I'm going to show you how to capitalize on this before the book even comes out this fall.
Yes.
And in this event, we are going to put together the first, what I call, global collaboration project, where everyone in that ballroom is going to come together, and I'm going to facilitate the process. I've done this many, many times, and bring all of you together to create projects that will grow your impact exponentially. Sharita will be there to talk about how to really make a difference in the nonprofit world. We also have Shelly. Do you know Shelly? Oh my gosh, I can't think of her last name. Shelly Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Will be there to talk. She's going to join us, and she's going to talk about the beauty of impact and how to make a difference in the world. And then I'm going to walk everybody through this map, and I would love to give your listeners a special gift code to come.
Yes.
The thing is, we're almost sold out. So here's how it works. You go to differencemakersummit.com, Difference Maker Summit, and you'll see that the tickets are $4,000 a piece. But if you're a listener of Sharita, then all you have to do is enter the coupon code IMPACT, and you get 90% off.
Wow, I didn't know it was that much, Wendy. That's a surprise for me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yes, because you do so much good for so many people, Sharita, and I just really want to help. So if you get there before we sell out, go for it.
Outstanding, outstanding. Well, I also want to mention this, Wendy. You've been talking about these 10 steps, but it's also helping people to market their business. And I cannot let a show go by without talking about there's a grant for that. And just, Chase Bank alone, I don't know when their next funding cycle is, but at the end of 2014, they gave a Chase to give away $3 million in grants. I'm going to turn it so that you can see this. See that? I mean, I'm not the one saying it.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it's for marketing and growing small businesses. So, Wendy, we're going to have to talk about that so that we can make sure that with you helping businesses do this, you can definitely be going after the funding to help businesses grow and sustain. Because, of course, what does that do? That helps not only with business sustainability, but growing jobs, creating jobs, and keeping communities sustainable. So we're going to talk more about that. Wendy, I'm so excited that you've been here with me. I don't want to go any further without telling them again how to reach you and going to that website for that major savings. So they go where?
DifferenceMakerSummit.com.
Okay.
And use coupon code IMPACT.
Okay. Outstanding, outstanding. And Wendy, we've got just about like 2 minutes for you to give us some closing remarks. Anything special you want to say to our audience besides that major savings?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sharita. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me and for letting me do this with you, because I love everything you put into the world, sweetheart. And I'm just so glad that we're collaborating now to make a bigger impact.
Yes.
Very much so. And there is something I will say, because this Friday is a very special birthday for me, and I want to share the message with you and all your listeners. This Friday, I'm turning 58, and it's not such an interesting number for most people, but it's huge for me because when my mother was 58, that's when we got the news that there was a cancer in her that took her from us in less than a year after that.
Yes.
And so at the moment that she was getting ready to die, and I was thinking about all of the impact that she had made in the world and all the impact that was left inside her that wasn't going to be made. And the simple truth is we never know. And so each and every morning, what I'm going to tell you, please, you've got to wake up and realize that life is far too short to settle for less than you truly want in your business or your life.
Yes.
And so I'm going to invite you to focus on impact. Wake up every single morning. Make a decision to go out and make an impact on every life you touch. And that way your life will be fully led no matter what life brings your way.
Outstanding. Just yesterday I posted on Facebook, I am an advocate for life. Are you? because every day, I mean, my brother says that he's like, any day north of dirt is a good day. But still, what do you make of that day? Not just that we're north of dirt, what kind of impact can you make? And not planning for the journey, but enjoying the path that you're taking as you're taking whatever journey. So again, my dear, I just love you so, so much. And as long as we've been knowing each other, we are finally connecting. And you've given me chill bumps on my arms twice today. It is amazing. You live an amazing life. You have an absolutely phenomenal message. I'm so glad to not only know you, but to be connected to you. So Wendy, my dear sister, thank you so much for coming on. We will have you back again. I'll see you in a week, right?
You got it, sweetheart. Thank you. I love you, Sharita, and I look forward to seeing you.
Okay. Thank you, my dear. Talk to you in a week. And for everyone else, thank you for joining us. Sharita J, Drive Time out of Los Angeles. But of course, we have you on from all over the world. Send us some emails. Let us know what you thought of the show. For those of you that would like to give your message on the show, if you are just making a positive impact, like Wendy and I have been talking about today, and Nick Vera, my other absolutely phenomenal guest, go to my other website, SharitaHerring.com. That's SharitaHerring.com, and click on the air and fill out a form to be on the show. If you would like to receive the free grant information we send out weekly and all of the other messages that we send out about building strong communities, making a difference, developing nonprofits, all of that good stuff, go to my company website at kifoundation.org. That's kifoundation.org. This is Sharita J. See you next Wednesday. Have an impactful week again.
Call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fellas? Hey, Jam! Sure getting down. Gotta take you high. All right. You want to do it again?